Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and you're watching Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Following the largest attack on Ukrainian territory in the ongoing war, Russian troops continued to strike peaceful Ukrainian cities for a second day in a row on Sunday. According to the authorities, Russia launched 142 drones last night. After a pause of almost 6 months, the Ukrainian energy system came under massive fire on the weekend. In the Kiev and Sumy regions, where the Russian army struck thermal power plants, massive outages resulted. On Sunday, the Russian armed forces launched the most massive strike on Ukraine since the beginning of the full-scale war. More than 800 drones and nearly a dozen missiles were used in the attack. According to Ukrainian authorities, 4 people were killed, including an infant, and more than 40 were injured. In Kiev, residential buildings and a government building were damaged, the latter coming under fire for the first time since the start of the war. Meanwhile, on Sunday, in Russia's Krasnodar region, debris from a drone fell on the grounds of the Irski oil refinery. As a result, some of the infrastructure caught fire. The blaze was reportedly quickly extinguished, and there are no casualties reported by the local authorities. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine confirmed that Ukrainian drones were used in the attack on the facility, which is reportedly involved in supplying fuel to the Russian armed forces. The Irski oil refinery has been attacked by drones several times before. Meanwhile, Ukrainian drones also launched a new attack on the Druzhba oil pipeline. The strike targeted a production control station in the Bryansk region, which helps the pipeline's production units ensure the smooth operation of equipment. On the front line, Ukrainian troops liberated the village of Zarychne in the Donetsk region. The action was announced by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in a video which showed the raising of the Ukrainian flag by soldiers who liberated the village. At the end of August, the Deep State Project reported on the advance of Russian troops in Zarychne. Meanwhile, in the village of Kucherev Yar near Dobropilia, according to the Ukrainian military, the Russians are sending assault units in an attempt to somehow hold their positions in this region. The Ukrainian military has so far successfully repelled these units despite Russian meat assaults, which are resulting in huge losses of Russian personnel. Russian occupiers are coming up with new tricks in an attempt to seize the initiative. A recent new development involves FPV drones lurking in ambush near roads and highways, devices designed to sit and wait patiently for their victims. However, in many cases, the predator swiftly becomes prey as Ukrainian drones come swooping in from above, resulting in instant destruction. The latest example comes courtesy of Ukrainian drone operators from the 5th Assault Brigade and the 60th Separate Mechanized Brigade, who engage in daily aerial duels against enemy FPVs. And you'll have to admit, this was really impressive. It was an industrial-scale fly-swatting exercise. Some of you might be saying, okay, but you said aerial duels. These drones were destroyed on the ground, using explosives or incendiaries. However, that is not to say that you don't actually have drones engaging in something you could call literal dogfights. This happens too. Ukraine has actually developed anti-drone systems, essentially interceptor drones, which fly towards larger enemy drones like the Shaheds and destroy them mid-air. So it is an all-out drone war out there, something that armies of the world are watching very closely indeed. Now we're moving on to our second story today. In the Lyman region, Ukrainian tank crews are demonstrating what real assault actually looks like. The task of the armored group of the Ukrainian 3rd Company of the 3rd Assault Brigade's tank battalion is to destroy Russian fortifications, which are located in one of the settlements. A few well-aimed shots from tank guns and the enemy positions are reduced to rubble. The occupiers, who tried to hide behind these walls, are effectively left without cover. Despite being hit by a Russian FPV, the armored vehicle continues to move and completes its mission. This is a striking example of how Ukrainian tank crews work in the most difficult conditions, remaining a key element of the offensive force. And if by any chance you're watching this for the very first time, a quick reminder, that net over there, that is drone protection. Imagine seeing something like that before the war in Ukraine started. You'd be thinking, okay, what is that? There is no point in actually having a net around your tank. But right now, it is actually an essential part of defensive equipment, because some lighter drones can simply get caught in that net and fail to reach the vehicle itself. So this is how drones actually transform the battlefield. Now, to close out today's episode, I'd like to show you what the city of Toretsk in the Donetsk region actually looks like today. The city, which until recently enjoyed a peaceful existence, now resembles a sea of ruins, devastated buildings, demolished infrastructure, and silent streets where traffic once flowed. For the second year in a row, Ukrainian soldiers continue their heroic struggle on the Toretsk front. Fierce battles are being fought for this city, which has been almost wiped off the face of the earth. Every meter here is paid for with blood and courage. Russian troops are trying to break through the defenses, but Ukrainian defenders repel attacks day after day, destroying manpower and equipment. Toretsk has become a symbol of resilience, even amid the ruins. It lives on, thanks to those who defend it on the front lines. And with this, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. Stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and